The 2025 NFL Combine starts today in Indianapolis. What's going on, everybody? Good morning. It is Sunday. It is February 23rd, and it's a very special day on the NFL calendar. Kind of. It's not the big day in terms of the information fire hose turning on and us all having to drink out of it, but it is the first day of an extended event down in Indianapolis that is very important to the NFL offseason. And we're going to learn a lot from this over the next week plus. This video is powered by BetUS, and when I said what I said in the intro to this video is true, but only in a technical sense. I'll just go ahead and admit that right now, because yes, the NFL Combine has technically started as of today, but don't expect very much to happen for a little while here. In fact, don't expect much to happen in terms of information that is relevant to us as Seahawks fans until the 27th, which would be Thursday. So if you're sitting on pins and needles right now waiting for Adam Schefter and Tom Pelissaro and Rappaport and all the others to start coming out with information today, I don't think that's going to happen. So let's go through the schedule here. I just want to run down what you guys can expect over the next week or so, and I'm also going to try to talk about how I'm going to try to cover it. So what I have on screen here is a general player schedule for the NFL Scouting Combine, and as you can see, it starts today. However, notice how narrow that start is. Today being February 23rd, the only thing happening today is that some players are going to arrive at Lucas Oil Stadium at the facility early. Early player arrivals for kickers, defensive linemen, and linebackers. So about the only thing we're going to learn today concerning the Combine is who is actually going to be there. And really, we're not even going to learn that, if you want to be perfectly honest, because that's only a few positions, and players could show up the next day because it's early arrival, and we already kind of know who's going to go because we've had that list for a little while now. So it's not like we're going to pick up any new information today. We're just going to see players start to filter in. So let's go through the schedule here, and you guys can get an idea for when the interesting stuff is going to happen. So today is just that: kickers, linemen, linebackers, early arrival. Monday, which is tomorrow, these players that arrived early, kickers, linebackers, linemen, defensive linemen, are going to register. They're going to go through a pre-exam, and they're going to go through some orientation. None of that really has anything to do with us on the outside. None of us are going to be able to learn much from that. The one thing that we might start to get from the Combine in terms of information that is meaningful to us is going to be the team interview portion right here. So if a team meets with a player, we might hear about it. Keep in mind, we also might not. In the past, there have been many interviews that get out that become public knowledge, like it becomes known that this team met with this player. There are also probably many circumstances where an interview isn't known to the public, and it's just between the team and the player. So that is the one thing that we could pick up on as early as tomorrow, and defensive backs and tight ends start to arrive early tomorrow as well. Before I go any further, I want to tell you about my friends over at BetUS. BetUS is not just an online sportsbook, they are also an online casino, and I recommend that all my followers, if you like slots, if you like blackjack, if you like live casino dealers, if you like table games, whatever it is that you like, get on over to BetUS, take advantage of their sign-up bonus, 200% sign-up bonus up to $5,000, or 250% sign-up bonus for crypto up to $5,000. So get on over there, check it out. between your sports betting, and there's plenty of sports betting to get to right now. I know football's over, but there's a lot of sports going on. Check out the casino, get to some gambling, check out BetUS. All right, so Tuesday, the kicker, linebacker, and lineman group, defensive lineman group, is going to get to their general medical exam. We might learn a little bit there. Usually there are a handful of players that end up with a medical red flag that wasn't necessarily expected, or is at the very least informative, or maybe they get a medical green flag where something we thought we were worried about comes back looking good. Pre-ordered studies and team interviews. So we might learn stuff on Tuesday, but it's going to be mostly just the team interview stuff. And let's be real here. Just because a player meets with a team and interviews with them doesn't mean they're going to end up on that team, right? You interview a ton of players, you only draft a handful of them. And the defensive backs and tight ends register, have a pre-exam, they have an orientation, team interviews continue. And Tuesday is also the day we get registration, orientation, and team interviews for running backs, quarterbacks, and wide receivers. So pretty much every subsection this year has at least something that is interesting for the Seahawks, right? Like that first group, we don't really need a kicker unless we let go of Myers, but defensive lineman, I think we need a nose tackle. And linebacker, we could at least use depth. And if we don't re-sign Ernest Jones, we're going to need a lot more than that. Defensive back and tight end, which shows up in the next shift. Definitely some depth at cornerback. If we trade Woolen, more than depth. And assuming Noah Fant gets released, we're definitely going to want to know about these tight ends. And then this third group that comes in here, running back, quarterback, wide receiver. Mostly wide receiver, I think. But we do need some help at wide receiver, so that's going to be at least a little bit compelling. I don't know if it's going to be super compelling, but we do need some assistance in that area. So they show up on Tuesday, registration, orientation, team interviews. Again, not a lot of stuff that we as fans benefit from, but the team interviews might be informative. So then you get to Wednesday, and now everybody's there. The offensive linemen show up that day and register, get oriented, and go through some team interviews. So obviously the offensive line is always going to be interesting to any team. Every team needs at least one offensive lineman, be it a starter or a backup. You always need to be looking at this. And you can see that the first group, kickers, linemen, and linebackers, orthopedic exam, media interviews, could be interesting. Kicking workout would be interesting if we needed a kicker. We kind of don't. NFLPA meeting and team interviews. And then the defensive backs and tight ends are staggered. Running back, quarterback, wide receiver staggered. Offensive line staggered. You guys can see how this chart works. But we've gotten all the way to Wednesday. And the thing you might notice, we haven't gotten to the on-field workout yet. This is what the Combine is best known for, when everybody runs around in their underwear and they get timed on how fast they run. They get timed on how high they jump. They get timed on how far they jump. They go through basic drills that correspond to their position. And we get to visibly see how they do, to get an idea of how they can move on the field and how they can do things on the field. That part does not start until Thursday. So if that's what you care about, and that probably is what you should care about, right? The rest of this stuff is kind of, well, maybe some of the stuff will be a little bit helpful, but the real stuff is Thursday. Linemen and linebackers and kickers get measured, meaning we find out exactly how big they are, and the on-field workout, which is when we time them, we get to see them run drills. This is where things kick in and get interesting. Thursday, February 27th. And then, of course, you have the other players going through the previous stuff, the ortho exam, the media interviews, NFLPA meeting, pre-exam, more stuff that we as fans only get to learn a small piece of information from realistically. So Thursday's the day when it really pops. And then you get to Friday, and there's still one more thing for the first group to do, which is bench press. They don't do the bench press until the day after the on-field workout. So we're still going to learn a little bit more data, but then we just kind of have broadcast interviews, and then they leave Indy. So while the defensive backs and tight ends are going to be doing their underwear Olympics and getting measured, we're going to have that. We're going to have the running backs, quarterbacks, wide receivers getting ready, and the offensive linemen on step 3. And then we get into March here. So we go all the way into March. This ends up being a 9-day process overall. You get to, where were we? Yeah, Saturday. The defensive backs and tight ends do a bench press, and then they do some interviews and get out of there. The underwear Olympics move on to the running back, quarterback, wide receiver. That could be very interesting. And then you got the offensive linemen getting ready for their underwear Olympics. Sunday, QBs, running backs, receivers, bench press, and then they get out of there. And we get to see the offensive linemen do their workout, which is going to be must-see TV for us, I think. I think all of these days are going to be pretty important, but I imagine the offensive line is going to be the most compelling for Seahawks fans right now. And then all that's left is Monday. We get a bench press, and then everybody's going to get on out of there, and the combine's over, and we're a week away from free agency. So this schedule, I think, lays it out about as plainly as it can. But what we're probably looking at is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday are the interesting days because those are when you get the workout. I may do a watch-along stream of the combine drills for at least one of these days. I did it last year, and it worked pretty well. So I might do it the first day, and if it goes well, I may do it the other days. And then either way, I will do it on the last day because that's the offensive line day. But I'm thinking about doing that because I haven't streamed on YouTube much lately, and it's a good opportunity to get out there and talk about something that people are really going to be into. I know free agency hasn't happened yet, but this draft stuff is what gets people really excited. So that'll be a way to get people going for it. And if you're not into the streams or you can't attend, then what I'm probably going to do is wait for the data to come out, wait for the numbers to come out, and then do videos kind of recapping some of the players that move their stock up and players that move their stock down, talking about the stuff that we as fans should care about, talking about the stuff that of the things that happened, what is interesting to the Seahawks and their fans. So you're probably going to see a video maybe Thursday night, maybe Friday morning. We'll see how it ends up working out in terms of when they release the data. And we're also going to have to do stuff on the bench press because that doesn't come until the next day. And for some positions, bench press is whatever, but for some positions, it really matters. Defensive line, offensive line in particular. Tight end, I would also say there's some degree of import as well. So we're going to have to probably do separate videos for that. And again, I'll stream as much of this as I can. I know not everything gets streamed. I know not everything gets shown to the public, but I think most of the drills do. So we might give that a shot. And yeah, let me know what you guys think about that. But that is what is on deck for football fans. So get ready for a few days of getting little tidbits of information. Maybe we'll learn that, like, oh, the Seahawks met with this player and they met with that player and had an interview with him, and the interview went fill in the blank. That's probably about the most we can get. Or maybe, oh, this player that people were really high on came back with a medical red flag and now teams are not so high on him. Stuff like that. But Thursday, we kick off. So there it is. Enjoy the content. I know it's been slow going for a little while now, but I'm not really going to have much to say about anything until we get to Thursday. If I hear things, I'll report them and talk about them and give my takes, but understand that just because the combine starts today doesn't mean the interesting stuff kicks off for us until later. All right. See you guys soon. Go Hawks. Thank you to BetUS for powering this video. More free agency stuff coming out soon. See you around.